Welcome back to another video for the Linux series. So what I'll be doing in this video is going over remote connectivity management. And I'll be doing just a few exercises. The first one is going to be installing a secure shell server in Linux systems. Now, secure shell, as we all know, right, it's a TCP protocol, right? That is used for remote access to network devices or hosts like Linux machines, and secure shell works on port 22, which is a secure port because communication is typically encrypted, right? And it's widely used for like accessing network devices that Linux hosts. And Linux devices, for people who don't know, can be managed remotely by connecting remotely using a secure shell connection, which I believe I've done on a couple of different videos prior to the recording of this one. Right, it's a secure way of connecting to the device's terminal interface, really. But first, what I'm going to do is install a secure shell server on this Debian Linux system. So first, I'm going to start off with this command here to install the secure shell. All right. Okay, of course I do. Perfect. So now the install should be completed in just a second. All right, now I can do this here. Okay, perfect. So it just activated the secure shell server in the system. So now I'm going to do this here. Okay. So it just pretty much is going to keep loading and running until I tell it to stop. So I'll just hit Q so it'll take me back to the terminal. And I'm going to clear it out just so I can have a clear screen here. So now what I'm going to do next is install the secure shell server in Alma Linux. So let's see if I can switch it up here. So here's Alma Linux. Log in here. Okay. Go to activities. Of course, I'm going to open up the terminal. All right. And from here, let's do DNF. We can install. Open secure shell server. All right. There we go. Take just a moment. Yes, it is. Let's see. Okay, just making sure. All right, so we're good. So I'll just enter in the next. Okay, perfect. There we go. So it just enabled the secure shell server in the system. So now I'm just going to do this one here. Service. Okay, and of course, again, it's just going to keep going until I quit from it. But we do know that the SSH service is active and running. Just going to quit. Quit here. So it'll take me back to the terminal. It'll clear this out so I can have a nice clean screen. So now what I'm going to do is harden the secure shell server on the Linux system. So what I'm going to do is use different commands to make the secure shell server more secure by modifying the configuration file, restricting access, and changing to a non-default port, and disabling authentication on the server itself. All right, so just going to go back over to my Ubuntu Linux here. Right. Exit out here. All right, perfect. So now that I have the terminal up here, let's do some sudo editing. All right. Okay. All right, perfect. So now that I'm in the file, right, that's displayed here, the SSHD configuration file, just going to locate the permit root login. Let's see. There it is. Okay, all right, so I'm changing that login grace. Make sure there's nothing else here. Okay, yeah, that's good. So what this does is the permit root login entry is used to specify whether a root user can log into the system using a secure shell key. Now, if it's set to prohibit password, then the root user will not be able to log in using a password. That is authentication that requires keyboard entry. Now, when set to no, the root user cannot log in. So let's take a look at the password authentication. Let's see. Maybe there it is. All right, perfect. So let's change this to no. Okay. All right, perfect. So the password authentication is set to no because only users with secure shell keys will be able to log into the system. So password authentication won't be allowed. So now I'm just going to scroll up to the port 22 here that I remember seeing earlier. Let's see. Port 22 should be towards the top. There it is. I'm going to add a couple twos here. All right, perfect. So now that I've changed that, let's see. Let's go down here. All right, perfect. So now I'm just going to save it here and then out here. So I'm back at the terminal. So now I'm just going to do one more command run here. Restart. No. Let's see. Here was saying that. Nonetheless, even though it says that usually the modifications that are made to the modifications that are made to the configuration file, the SSH service has to be restarted for the changes to take effect. But nonetheless, that's what would happen if I, wasn't getting this particular message or this output, right? Now, lastly, what I'm going to do is install the secure shell client on Linux, on a few Linux systems. I'm going to install the client on the Debian Linux and also the Alma Linux. So I'm going to start with the Debian initially, right? So let's actually clear this out. And then I'll start with this command here. An update. Okay, shouldn't take long. Perfect. All right, so it just did an update of all the packages in the system. So now let's do an install now. Open Secure Shell Client. All right. Perfect. Rather than ask me a question. But nonetheless, now the install command is now going to install the Secure Shell client, which should have it successfully installed here after my last command. And now I'm going to actually install it, the Secure Shell client on the Alma Linux. So let's swivel back over there. All right, and then let's do enough. Complete. Okay. There we go. Yes. And this update may take a while. Nice. Okay, whenever you're ready. There it is. All right, perfect. Let's do this install here. All right, so now it's just installing the Secure Shell client. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just going to close the terminal here, and we're officially all set. That has been remote connectivity management. At least just for a brief recap, I installed a Secure Shell server on Linux. I hardened the Secure Shell server on the Linux system, and I also installed the Secure Shell client on the Linux system as well. And again, this has been remote connectivity management. Continuing the Linux series, on the next video, I'll be going over managing processes in Linux as well. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious, stay secure.